When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
All right, hello YouTube. So, we're back on the Grease Goblins channel. Today we're going to be discussing, was Ned really dumb or stupid in how he played the Game of Thrones in a Game of Thrones? I've been reading the books just to do some research, get some extra fun topics to do for the channel. And yeah, so if you would like to see more of this content from me, subscribe, like, and comment for more stuff like this. We post about 2 to 3 times every week at 7 p.m. U.S. Central Time. So yeah, getting into this topic, a lot of people think that Ned was stupid and dumb in how he played the Game of Thrones. And there's a few topics we're going to get into why people think this. But let me know down in the comments, before this video even starts, what are your opinions on how Ned played the game? I'm going to address some of the things that he quote-unquote did wrong that in reality probably in the situation weren't bad in hindsight. But knowing how the story plays out, we judge them differently. So, let's start off the story. So, I think most people, the first thing they look at when they look at Ned and the reasons he was dumb and how he played the Game of Thrones was trusting Littlefinger. And I'd like to counter this point that Ned at no point actually does trust Littlefinger. Ned is really picking a dirty man to do the job of hiring the Night's, or not the Night's Watch, the City Watch. It's something that Ned needs Littlefinger to do. It's not that he's trusting him, because Ned knows he really can't do it himself. And also, Alan vouches for Littlefinger, saying all this stuff. So Callan's really the person to blame, if anything, for Ned even trusting or being around Littlefinger. Now, maybe Ned should have, not been as nice to Littlefinger or even, done all this. But Littlefinger had been useful to Ned. Ned at no point trusted Littlefinger, though. That's my first counter to that point. People will also say the Renly thing, where Renly offers the swords. But at this point, Ned didn't think he needed them. He didn't think he needed to, capture all the children and all this, because he thought he had the City Watch in his pocket. He thought he didn't need Renly. Also, it just doesn't go with Ned's character. Renly was going to try to become king himself, and Ned was never going to allow that. The crown should have passed to Stannis. And you look at some of the other things that people say are mistakes. Him telling Cersei that he knows. That's not a stupid mistake. Because how is Ned going to predict that Robert was going to die? Because if Robert doesn't die on this trip, Cersei's screwed. Cersei even admits this, saying later on that they got very lucky. If Robert didn't die, he was screwed. Because so many things went in the Lannisters' favor for Ned to end up dying and or losing the struggle. Because Ned played this decently well. I'm going to even, go back to Catelyn when they're talking to Littlefinger and Varys. Ned gives Catelyn very strict instructions of what to do once she leaves, to prepare the North for this conflict and get them ready, because Ned is not a politician. Ned is more of a commander, like Stannis. He's more of a man with actions, not words. And Ned was trying to make this more of a military conflict if he needed it to, because that's where Ned thrives. He's one of the best military commanders at this point in the entire story. And that's what he was doing. I'm going to read you guys a passage right now just to kind of show you what I'm talking about, because he gives Catelyn these things to do. So, without further ado, we're going to read. All right. So, when the door had closed behind him, Ned turned back to his wife. Once you are home, send word to Helman Tallhart and Galbert Glover under my seal. They are to raise 100 bowmen each and fortify Moat Cailin. 200 determined archers can hold the neck against an army. Instruct Lord Manderley that he is to strengthen and repair all his defenses at White Harbor, and see that they are all well manned. And from this day on, I want a careful watch kept over Theon Greyjoy. If there is a war, we shall have need of his father's fleet. And yeah, then he goes on to basically say, there might be a war with Catelyn questioning and stuff. But think about what Ned's saying. He is securing the way into the north by securing Mo Kalen. He then is securing their navy with two things: building up and making sure they're basically their navy at White Harbor is good to go, as well as keeping Theon close because he knows he might be able to bring the Greyjoys into the war as well. This is very smart thinking by Ned, because he knows war could come. That is a possible outcome, and that's probably the one he wanted, because that's the one he would win. Baratheon forces, the Stark forces, the Tully forces, maybe the Vale forces, but let's say they get kept out of it for some reason. They would be able to take out the Lannisters with Ned at the helm. So, and even the Greyjoys, I forgot to mention them because of how they would pull them in. But Ned really was not stupid in his approach. He was wanting to play the game on his terms. How Littlefinger plays the game, where he's never at the front line, he's always manipulating things from the back. Ned was playing the game as in, we're going to do war, and I'm going to win because that is my strength. So, it's just, realistically, Ned was actually screwed more by Catelyn than himself, right? Because Ned was kind of working in the shadows, just trying to figure this stuff out. And Catelyn is the one that imprisons Tyrion, which was stupid. That she bought a stupid lie that Littlefinger told her that a lot of people could have told her was wrong. And starts this whole conflict. Because now Tywin is going to start raiding the Riverlands. Jaime attacks Ned. And Ned basically is his legs screwed up. He can't really do what he needs to do. He's in a bad position to where he can't really travel that much. And it's just, she kind of screws him, because now there's a bunch of pressure on him now. Okay? He has to send Beric Dondarrion and his some of his guard to help take out these forces that are attacking the Riverlands. She just does a terrible job. And she's the one that even tells him to trust Littlefinger. Alan is the real bad player of the game. He's the worst player of the game in the House Stark whole regime by a lot. Okay? So, you look at all this, and to say Ned was stupid or dumb is kind of not true. Because you just look at it. He was prepared. He knew what he was going to do. And if it wasn't for Ned dying to that boar, the Lannisters were screwed. There was some odd occurrence that Ned can't predict that just, it was very unlucky for him. And even after it, he still thought he had the upper hand, which in reality, if Littlefinger had supported him instead of Cersei, he would have. But things just don't go your way sometimes in the Game of Thrones, and we've learned that. But, yeah, that's really all I wanted to talk about. I just think Ned gets unnecessary slander when it comes to all this. But, yeah, if you guys want to see more of these videos, let me know down in the comments. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace out, guys.